Hey, this is my absolute fly of the year this year. Got more flies on this fish, including this one from my daughter. And then this one came with this fly with my buddy's son. So it's been a very productive fly. It was so productive, in fact, that they sold out of them locally, had to learn how to tie them. And it has several names. I think commercially this is the CDC French jig. Um, I've heard it called the Little Bastard, and also heard of the Christmas tree, which makes it festive, and you can see why. So I'm going to show you how to tie it. So here we go. Okay, so let's get to work. This is a fire hole, 551 in size 14. It's a 3.2 bead. I like the oversized beads, and then this is just 6/0 thread from Semperfly. So we'll get that started. Always want to start building a little bit of a base up here towards the head of that bead. We're going to trim that off. Let's trim off your tag. And string, get it all. Okay, next we're going to do the tail, which the tail is like 4 or 5 fibers of the CDL. So we're going to take those. Measure them so they're appropriately lengthed. Proportions matter. I'm going to tie it in all the way up here, double check my length, and then trim that off. Okay. And then we're going to come all the way back to the bend of the hook. Notice how I'm taking that tail and folding that tail towards me so that that counters the wraps and keeps it from throwing that tail. Next is our hot spot. So this is a small Vivus HO3, nice and red. I'm going to tie that in back here. Just a couple wraps to anchor it. And then we're going to build up that hot spot. And tie it off. That's probably the least durable part of that fly. I have tried to epoxy that before. It just doesn't, the color doesn't work out the same. So I just don't worry about it. And then this is a small piece of Unifrench wire, size small, 5 grain. I am going to put this in for durability, and it gives a little pizzazz. So I take that wire and I stuff it all the way up in the bead, and then start to anchor that. I'm going to come all the way forward, and then start from back there. Next up, just some olive dyed pheasant tail, a few fibers. I'm going to tie these in with the ends towards the eye of the hook. These are super fragile. I'm going to come up here, clip off the tips. Yes, Bobby, I said tip. Come halfway back, and then back again, start to build a little bit of a taper there. So we have some good proportions. And then I'm going to wrap the body. Just so they're touching each other. And tie that off. A couple of good strong wraps and pluck those fibers out of there. All right, that's your body. Now we're going to take these threads, or this wire, and we're going to counter wrap. So everything I've done so far is this way. Now we're going to wrap it back this way increases the durability. Plus, I like the way it looks. So spread those apart nice and evenly. It's like you're running the tinsel up the tree. Okay, and then tie that off. Get a good strong base. And you should be able to helicopter that off. All right. Next part's the tricky part. This is CDC and dark slate done. I've already preloaded it into my Swiss clip. So I'm going to throw a dubbing loop in here. I'm going to hook it with my bobbin tool. This is a CNF design given to me by a friend of mine, Dr. Tyer. He's awesome. Yes, he's a great fly tyer, and his last name is actually Tyer. Ooh, struggling. All right, I'm gonna give that a good spin. And before I let go, push those fibers up just a little bit. There it is. I'm just gonna wrap this. You want this to be an absolute mess when you start and when you finish. So it gives this fly its buggy look. So pull those back. And then tie that off. Oops. Cut out that bobbin loop. Dubbing loop, I mean. Pull those fibers back. You see we got a nice buggy looking tail. Wing, legs, whatever you want to call that. This is what I think gives this fly all of its pizzazz, is when that gets wet. It just lays down over the body, gives it an awesome shape. And then last but not least, a little bit of Ice Dub Emerald in green. That's from Hairline. It's okay to make this guy a little bulky up here towards the head. So let's dub that in. And we're going to wrap just behind the head here. Trim off any flyaways. Just a dab of super glue up there at the top. And a whip finish. There it is.